You're welcome to today's class. Today we want to look at loops in C. Now, what is a loop? A loop is a programming construct that allows a set of instructions to be executed repeatedly until a specific condition is met. That is a loop. And then in C, we have uh, keywords that are used to govern the cycle of a loop. And example of those keywords are one, we have for, two, we have while, three, we have do, while, four. Then we can also have nested loops from any of them. Nested loops. Then we have other statements we can equally use in loops. Example of that is what? Break. Then we have six, we have continue. Then we have seven, we have go to. But this one is not frequently used anymore because it's very powerful and confusing. It's like disappearing. So when you disappear from one position to another position, if you are not very careful in understanding the inner functionality, you can disappear here and land inside the water. So you have to be very careful how you use this one. Now, what is the flow chart for a loop? You have something like this. You have something of this nature. So you are testing condition. Now, if the condition is true, you carry out this block of code. If the condition is false, you don't enter the loop. So you come out like this, like this, like this, like this. So this is the flow chart for a loop. For any of these loops, it's something of this nature. So you're just going to go back and you keep testing the condition. As the condition is true, you go in and execute the block of code. So I'm going to write a very simple program to illustrate this concept. But what I really want you to note in this class, which is this introduction to loop, is the iteration that are in the loop. So let me write a small program for you to see. I'm going to use a while loop. Let's say I declare a variable int a and I assign 1 to it. Then I say while. So here I will say a is less than or equals to 10. Then go in and print f a percentage d. Do a new line, then a. Then a plus plus, another statement. So I close my loop. Now, this is a small program that I've written using a while loop, which is this one, using a while loop. Now, this loop has 10 iterations, which is based on this condition. It has 10 iterations. Now, let me explain that. So a loop is like this, right? This is a loop. And then you have something like this. Let's say then you have this, 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 this. So you're having 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let's just leave it. Now, we are having 10 iterations. Let's say this. So these are the iterations. Let's assume that this, you have 10. So you are having, what I'm saying is that you're having inner cycles inside the main cycle. So that's what you're looking at. So this loop has 10 iterations. Now, with our concept of manifestation in reality, using programming as a guide, what we want to manifest, what this loop wants to give us as the manifestation, which is the reality, is what this place will give us A equals to, because, okay, let me not use equals to, or is equals to, because this in English is equals to, but in programming is assignment operator. Because of this double quote, you are going to read this in English format. So A equals to 1, A equals to 2, A equals to 3, like that. So to give you A equals to 10. That is what you are going to get as the output, 1 to 10. So meaning you have 10 iterations. Now, what I also want you to take away is that your reality is a function of your identity. Now, the identity in this program now is this one that is allocated to this variable. Now it checks the value of this A, which is the variable, is less than or equals to 10. That is true. It will go in. Then it will print F. It will print this as a string literal. But this percentage D, which is a format specifier, is telling us how to, those that have been following my class understand this already, how to interpret it. So the value of A is 1. It will print it out. Then it will come to the next statement, which is what? To increment A. So it will increment A to A 1 plus 1, that is 2. It will come back again and test. As long as this expression remains true, it will continue to execute this statement and this statement. Then eventually, when this increases to 11, it will come back to test. A less than or equals to 10. A is 11. That is no longer true. It will not go in. It will come out. If here I say print F, and now say print F, I say value of A, and I put percentage D, right? And then I do this. What will it print out for me? It will print out 11 on the screen. It will print out the value of A is equals to what? 11. That is what it will print out. And that is why it didn't print it out among all these. So this loop has 10 iterations. So what is the loop rem telling us? Which is what I want you to see. The loop rem is just showing us how to manage repetition orderly, right? With precision. That's what the loop rem will teach us. How to manage repetition in order and precision. So you are going to use the for loop, the while loop, and the do while loop to govern that cycle. You are going to call the break statement to come out of the loop when needed. And you are going to call the continue statement to skip any iteration. So when you bring in break, which I'm going to show you, when you bring in break, it means you are coming out of the loop. But when you bring in continue, what it means is that if I am to push this out on the screen, then the next statement is continue. I will skip this next iteration and then I will continue from here. But if I push this out on the screen and I encounter break, then I'm going to come out of the loop completely. None of this will be executed. So that's one between break and continue. Break means you are coming out of the loop. So I have given the first loop. Assuming I come here now and I bring in break here. For example, break statement. The moment I print out 1 on the screen, break will bring me out of the loop. But if I put in continue there, it will skip the next iteration and move to the next one. That is simply the difference between break and continue. So all these I am going to demonstrate to you in this class. So I just want you to see how a loop works. Just like taking blood sample from any part of the body to test for a DNA. And every cell in the body come together to form a tissue, to form organs, and then to form the system. Same thing with family. Every member of the family is working to achieve the requirement of that family, the goal of the family. So the family is a loop, while every member is iteration of the loop. So you are your ancestor, meaning you are just a refined version of your parent. You know, the children we are giving birth to today are very smart. That is because they are modified version of our ancestors. I don't know how true that is, but somehow. So that is what we are going to be doing in this class. We are looking at loops. So the next class, I'm going to look at while loop, which is actually this, or for loop. Then we'll look at do while loop. What is the difference between a while loop and a do while loop? Then we'll look at nested loops, that is loop inside a loop. Then we'll now look at continue, break, and we'll come to the end of this series and we'll move to the next one, which is what? Functions. We are getting closer to rounding up Learning C. So don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on my Facebook page. And do not forget to give me a thumbs up. So till we see in the next class. Bye-bye.